What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We, Nick, are here for the NBA play-in recap. This is our first ever recap. What we're trying to
hmm
do this year is give a recap for all the NBA playing games and then give our high-level overview of how each game went. I know we're not going to be able to get to the Kings and Warriors since it's playing right now, but we did want to break down the Pelicans and Lakers game, Nick. Nick, it was a great game. How'd you feel about it?
No, it was a really good game, and there was a lot of back and forth. It looked like the Lakers were going to be pulling away, especially they were up 18 in the third quarter. But the first quarter, the Pelicans started off really, really strong. I think they were up 34-26 at the end of the first quarter, I believe. And then the second quarter, the Lakers had a 12-0 run and a 13-0 run. They outscored the Pelicans 34-16 to have, was it just a 10-point lead going into halftime? It was a double-digit lead going into halftime.
Yeah, it was
But
a
and
10
then
point lead, I believe.
And then in the third quarter, Lakers started off strong. Obviously, they're up 18. Then New Orleans was finally starting to hit some shots. But unfortunately, CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram were off tonight. Besides Zion Williams, and Zion Williams has played unbelievable. This is his first playoff game, and this
Playoff
guy
atmosphere
had a 40
basketball.
point, had a 40 piece. You know what I mean? And they had some contributions from it was the role players that were stepping up. Herb Jones stepped up. Alvarado was playing great on both sides of the floor. Trent Murphy knocked down some huge threes. But CJ McCollum scored. Yeah, he did score a couple buckets late in the fourth quarter, but he was a no-show tonight. Brandon Ingram was a no-show tonight. And with the Lakers, obviously LeBron played pretty well. Anthony Davis looked soft in the first half.
Yeah.
To me, he played a lot better in the second half. They got some contributions from role players, knocked down some threes. I think Torian Prince hit a couple threes. I think this is one of the better games Vince has played as a Laker since he's missed
I was just
a
gonna
lot of the
say,
a lot of the season. Obviously, D'Angelo Russell had 15 quick points,
mm,
to start this game. I think he knocked down five threes overall. Austin Reeves didn't have a good first half either himself, but he picked it up in the second half, but it was a great game overall. A lot of runs from both teams. And unfortunately, Zion had to get hurt after he scored his 40th points. And pretty much just went downhill for the Pelicans there. The Lakers were just better at executing down the stretch.
oh, 100%, 100%. I just want to quickly say, um, Gabe Vincent is going to definitely be a factor for the Lakers in that Nuggets series because they are going to badly need another three-point shooter outside of D'Angelo
hmm
Russell to hit shots because
Yeah.
they are not going to last very long in that series if they're not hitting threes.
hmm
Interesting point too that you talked about was the BI and CJ McCollum not playing. Um, I felt like the Pelicans after that, I felt like they gave their strongest punch in the first quarter, and everything
Yeah.
after that just kind of seemed like they were just being outplayed in every facet of the game. It wasn't until that
hmm
halfway through the third quarter where we really started to see life from the Pelicans again because
Yeah.
LeBron was doing whatever he wanted, just putting his shoulder down, getting to the basket. Obviously, like you said, you had guys like D'Angelo Russell, Torian Prince, and Gabe Vincent hitting threes. It just kind of looked like it was going to be a wash. I think when they
hmm
got up by 18, it just seemed like it was over. And I got to give a lot of credit to Zion. He was the best player on the floor, like you said, Nick. I know we were texting during the game.
Yeah.
I don't think there was anybody else that was at the same impact as Zion. And I gotta ask you, man, do you feel that if Zion doesn't get hurt, the Pelicans end up playing the Nuggets instead of the Lakers right now?
Ooh.
Because it could have happened. I mean, the way
Yeah,
everything was going.
I would say it's a 50-50 toss-up. Obviously, the Pelicans were building momentum, but I would trust the experience that the Lakers have on their squad to still be able to pull it out. I would say, but obviously Zion was the best player on the floor tonight. He was getting at the rim at will. Nobody was stopping him when he got in transition a lot too. He was making great passes, getting guys wide open three, especially in the first quarter, man. The Pelicans were knocking down a lot of threes to start this game. Just like you said, their best punch was in the first quarter. I think they knocked down like 4 or 5 threes early in that
Yep.
ball game. That was unreal, but unfortunately his running mates just didn't show up. And unfortunately, when you have that one star player in Zion and a bunch of role players, that's not going to really get you so far, especially in these type of games, especially going against a team like the Lakers. The amount of experience that they have on this team,
Mhm.
and the Lakers role players showed up. a lot better than
Yeah.
the Pelicans. Yeah, the Pelicans had three role players that scored 10 plus points, but I felt like the Lakers role players hit more perimeter shots than the Pelicans because the Pelicans were struggling from the perimeter. They had too many bad stretches in this game in order for them to win this game. So, just like you said, even though it was only a 4 point game, but if you're watching this game and they weren't showing the score, you feel like the Lakers won this game by double digits easy.
Yeah, I just think that this year the Lakers owned the Pelicans. They were 3 and
Mm-hmm.
1. If we
Yep.
remember the play-in tournament, they played
Oh,
to
they
for
blew
a
them
chance
out.
to the technically like the semis to the final.
Mm-hmm.
They were cooked by halftime. And I gotta say, like even on Sunday when they played too, it was the same thing. The Lakers had that game the whole time. And it
Yeah.
reminded me a lot of last year's playing game, the 7-8 with the Lakers and the Wolves, where it came
Mm-hmm.
down to the end for the Lakers to just kind of pull it out. And obviously, last year went to OT with Dennis Schroeder tying it up at the end of the fourth quarter. But this time around, I just kind of felt like the Lakers knew that they had this game the whole time. And
Mm-hmm.
like you said, they're role players. I gotta give it to Phil Handy, man. Rui Hachimura's 3-point shot since he's become a Laker has looked so much better. He was 2 of 2 tonight, and he's been really big in the playoffs for them, even last
Mm-hmm.
year,
Yeah.
with shooting the three. D'Angelo Russell has been having a career year. I mean, he shot 5 of 11 from three tonight, was shooting at
Mm-hmm.
45%. The Lakers as a team shot 40% from the three. If they're shooting like that from the three, most nights they're going to win because you have a guy like Anthony Davis, who I think both of us can agree, Nick, it seems to me that AD is like kind of on and off with his offensive game, and especially in the playoffs. It feels to me
Yeah.
he could have a dominant night where he's got 35 and 17, and then there's another night where he might have 10 and 10, maybe 10
Mm-hmm.
and 15. I know he finished
Yeah.
with 18, or no, I'm sorry, 20 tonight.
Yeah.
20 and 15 was the final stat line. But for a lot of that game, it kind of just felt like AD was nowhere to be found on the offensive end. Just kind of looking for foul calls, wasn't getting
Mm-hmm.
anything to go. And it
Yeah.
just kind of felt to me like the same old narrative of the team that LeBron has to rely on LeBron to do the scoring, do the playmaking, play defense, and everybody else is just going to kind of watch him. So
Yeah.
I don't know how you I don't know how you feel, man, but this Anthony Davis cannot be the Anthony Davis if they want any chance to win any games against Denver. I don't have them beating Denver, but if they want to even take 1 or 2 games, you have to bring your A game because AD is going to be your center, man. They have Jackson Hayes. That's the only other big guy they got. So,
No, I couldn't agree more. Anthony Davis, in order for the Lakers to have any hope in this series, he has to be the best player on the floor, not only for the Lakers, but for the game in 4 games for them to win this game. I don't see a scenario where LeBron could be the best player on the floor and they will win the game. Obviously, LeBron could carry a team like 1 game or 2 games, but he is declining. And when I'm watching this game, yeah, his stat line, yeah, I think he was 1 rebound and 1 assist away from a triple double. But most of his baskets now these days are coming in transition. And the way the Nuggets get back on defense and the way they set up and how good they are offensively, they're not going to have these droughts like the Pelicans had tonight. That's not the Denver Nuggets. You don't see that hardly. The Pelicans went, I think, 3 times at some point in this game without scoring a bucket with 5+ minutes. That's not going to happen at all in with the Denver Nuggets. So when they have their defense set up, LeBron's going to need to figure out how to score in a half court offense. He didn't have that many baskets tonight in the half court offense. If you're really
mhm,
thinking about it, he hit a three in the beginning of the game.
mhm.
In the second quarter, going into the second quarter, he only had 3 points, which was the 3 pointer. Guess what happened? They started to get stops. He started to get in transition, got these layups to go. He got fouled a couple of times, started knocking down some free throws. Look at all his perimeter shots in the fourth quarter. Notice how short they were on every single jump shot he took were all short.
I
The
think
age is
he's
starting to get to him. It's starting to
yeah.
get to
Oh
him.
yeah. Yeah.
And he's not the player that he is. And Anthony Davis really needs to pick it up. And not only that, you can't rely on these role players to be able to step up for 4 games. Anthony Davis is the key. He needs to at least I wouldn't even say outplay Jokic because I think Jokic is gonna be the best player in the series anyways.
Mhm.
But if Anthony Davis could like hold his own and at least
Yeah.
score with Jokic, it
Yeah.
gives the Lakers a chance because then the Denver Nuggets are going to have to adjust to Anthony Davis going ballistic. And hopefully these role players can knock down some shots. I don't think you can rely on LeBron James going one-on-one against his Nuggets defense going into this playoff series. I think that will play into the Nuggets' hands, and the Nuggets will take them home in 5 games.
Yeah, I just don't see in any scenario where the Nuggets are going to lose to the Lakers in a 7 game
No,
series. But like you
it's not going to
said,
happen.
LeBron definitely thrives off transition now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the first 12-0 run they had when AD was on the bench, it really started with just careless turnovers by the Pelicans, and it was actually fueled by a block that
Mm-hmm.
Zion had on LeBron, where he
Yeah.
thought he had Zion beat, and Zion ends up coming back door and then just
Mm-hmm.
glasses him.
Yeah.
And then the turnovers start. LeBron gets an easy transition dunk, then
Mm-hmm.
comes down. And something else I wanted to pick out too, Nick, is um LeBron wasn't driving up against Zion. It was against Brandon Ingram and Herb Jones, who they're lengthy,
Yeah.
long defenders who
Mm-hmm.
both do not have the weight that LeBron has. I mean, LeBron is
Yeah.
260, a
100%.
freight train. Brandon Ingram
Mm-hmm.
is a tall, slender guy. You're
Yeah.
not gonna be able to stop or keep your body in front of him. That's why
Mm-hmm.
the Nuggets have a perfect team because Aaron Gordon is their four. And Aaron
Yeah.
Gordon is a big body that can play with LeBron, and he's younger
Mm-hmm.
too. So that's
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing that I do want to point out. I think LeBron hit one jumper in the fourth quarter, and it was like the one that they needed. But I
Mm-hmm.
agree with you. If he's just not feeling it with his
Yeah.
jumper,
Mm-hmm.
he has to rely on careless turnovers. And I the Pelicans are an inexperienced team. We saw that again today. I know
Mm-hmm.
they made the playoffs 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They got sent home. They made the play-in last year, but they lost to the OKC Thunder, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
that's correct.
And
Yep.
then the Wolves beat the Thunder in that the 8 versus 9 to like get the
Mm-hmm.
eighth seed.
Yeah.
Uh I don't know what it is, man, but I feel like we kind of have to stop using the narrative of the Pelicans won this AD trade because the one piece they still have from that trade, Brandon Ingram, like you said, nowhere to be found in the fourth quarter. I understand he's just
No.
coming back from injury, but
Mm-hmm.
if you're saying that this is the best player in that package and he just isn't there for you at the end of I would say an important game because
It's a
you know,
playoff game at the end of the day, you
because
know.
they're going to probably lose, man. If Zion is not back for the next game, if he's out,
Oh, they
they're
got no
not
chance.
they're not winning
Yeah.
because
Mm-hmm.
they looked like a shell of a team because Zion was getting them those looks from outside because they had to collapse on Zion because Zion was getting whatever he wanted. So
Yeah.
once you saw that, Trey Murphy hit a couple threes. That was the point of the game where that was your chance.
Yeah.
So I got to tell you, I just feel like to me right
Mm-hmm.
now the Pelicans still look like a team that when Zion is healthy and you see
Mm-hmm.
these glimpses, they look like a great team. As
Yeah.
soon as Zion goes down, that whole team, it's like a 360. And it's every year this happens.
Yeah. Yeah. I got to give LeBron some credit too. He took two very key charges in the game.
Hmm.
Obviously, I think they were in the first half. I don't know if they were in the second half. Um, any of those charges, the one he had on Zion, then the one he had on Herb Jones. But notice how I like that he started the game on Zion, but notice how far back he was playing on him. I wonder who they're going to put LeBron on because he got caught ball watching a lot in this game, and Zion kept going backdoor on him, kept getting these ducks. Because LeBron, he is he's
He's
starting
old,
to look like
man.
a liability on
He's old,
defense, to be
man.
honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll get some chase down blocks and stuff whenever he feels like giving the energy, but he's not going to say, okay, I'm going to guard this guy 94 feet. I'm going to lock this guy. That's not the LeBron. That's not
No,
Miami Bron. You know what I'm saying? So
no.
I'm wondering who LeBron is going to be guarding against the Nuggets that they think that the Nuggets players that liability for him to be able to save his energy on offense. I don't think that's not going to be possible in this series. I just think that the Lakers, if Anthony, just like I said, if Anthony Davis is not the best player on the floor, they're not beating the Nuggets. They don't have a chance.
No, no.
They
I
just don't.
mean, I mean, it's either they got to shoot the lights out from the three and then
Hmm.
just play amazing, which
Hmm.
I mean, basically is what uh Phoenix had to do for 2 games in order to beat Denver. Was KD and
Yeah,
Devin Booker had to shoot out of their mind, shooting like 80% from the field.
it was Devin was nuts.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only way
Yeah.
this is going to happen. So
Hmm.
I think that series could go six at most.
Yeah.
I'm not really confident in the Lakers in terms of beat winning that series.
No.
I think that if this was LeBron, maybe even 4 or 5 years ago, this could be a different story. But then
Hmm.
again, I don't think this Lakers team would have been the eighth seed. I think they would have actually been a higher seed. So
Yeah, I
kind of the
agree.
age. I know this is non-related, but man, like you can just see the age on LeBron. That
Hmm.
bald spot in the back of his head, dude, it's just getting bigger over time.
Yeah.
I was like, I looked at LeBron today and I said, holy shit, that guy is getting old.
Yeah.
So,
Notice how too late late in the stretch when McCollum made those
mhm,
layups and Larry Nance had that layup
yeah.
as well,
Oh
that it
yeah,
kept being a 2 point game. Who was taking the ball out? Notice how
LeBron.
LeBron was taking the ball out
Yep.
because he knew every jump shot he took in the fourth quarter were all short. He did not want to go to the free throw line. He
No.
didn't want to go to the free throw line.
No. He knows he can't hit
Obviously,
his free throws sometimes.
it's smart on his part because obviously Anthony Davis is a better free throw shooter. He knocked down some big free throws. Austin Reeves knocked down some big free throws. D'Angelo Russell's a better free throw shooter. So I get it. But at the same time, like if you're the man, bro, you got to take them home. You know what I mean? But
Oh yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, but yeah, just like you said though, with the Pelicans, like their inexperience really played a huge factor. Having all those droughts, first quarter they were sharing the ball tremendously, getting wide open looks, getting to the paint at will. Second half, too much isolation basketball, man. It's just what happens. And when the Lakers finally were the first team to be able to get stops, that's how LeBron was able to get in transition. Long rebounds, just shooting contested threes. Brandon Ingram shooting contested fall away jumpers. It was just not good offense. And Willie Green did not want to take any timeouts in this dreadful second quarter. I mean, like, yeah, they got back in the game, obviously, but you knew the whole time. It's like the Lakers were just like you said, like they were in full control. Besides like the first quarter, second quarter on, it looked like the Lakers were in cruise control. They knew they had this game.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. If you look at the box score, actually, this game, the only quarter that the Lakers won was the second quarter. So it just tells you
Yeah.
all you need to know is how pivotal that second quarter was. And
Hmm.
I just think again, a veteran team like the Lakers are going to take advantage of a younger team. This is why the Thunder would be a terrible, terrible matchup. Like it would be a terrible matchup for them, I'm saying. But it
Yeah.
would be a terrible
Hmm.
matchup to play a team like the Lakers who have that experience, who have that veteran leadership to
Hmm.
play them in a 7 game series. Because like you saw today, I think that there are definitely some things that kind of stand out, you know. Um, I also just I want to ask you, man, like I, I don't know what it is, but do you feel like the Pelicans are just like they just don't they have pieces, but it's just
Hmm.
never going to materialize. Do you feel like it's just kind of like are they just better up? And I don't want to sound like every single like top news network saying should they just blow it up? But do you
Hmm.
feel we're getting to that point where we might need to move on from this core and like keep Herb Jones, I would say, keep Trey
Hmm.
Murphy. If Zion can stay healthy again next year, keep him. But everybody
You're
else,
talking about like Brandon Ingram and McCollum. You're talking
yeah,
about
yeah, I'm
those
like
guys.
BI, McCollum. I'd probably get rid of Valanciunas. I know he's older. I think you can get a better big personally because
Hmm.
he played 20 minutes tonight, dude. He only played 20 minutes,
Yeah.
and when he was off the floor, obviously you have no size. The
Yeah.
Pelicans really don't have anybody besides Jonas at like the center, so that's
Yeah.
something, and he's a liability. So
Especially on offense, the Lakers were daring him to take that 8 foot jumper the
yeah,
entire game. He took a couple of them and they were completely off. And look, Valanciunas had some good looks in the post. He had some mismatches, but was never able to take advantage of them tonight. When LeBron was on him, he had other guys that were on him, and either got the ball stripped or he just took a crazy shot, just didn't, obviously didn't go in. So, um, yeah, they were hoping that Valanciunas would take advantage more when AD was off of them, but that didn't really happen.
Do you know he was 1 of 7
And
tonight from the field?
yeah, 1 of 7, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's insane.
yeah. Because yeah. Even I'll give AD some credit though, even though he wasn't really on offensively a lot this game, but he still had about 3 blocks, I believe. Still was rebounding the ball. So I'll never doubt Anthony Davis not rebounding the ball or getting block shots. But
Hmm.
the Lakers were lucky tonight. He just wasn't that good offensively. Now he had 20, but if you watch the majority of that game, he was really not existent on the offense end of the floor. He got some layups. He was able to get some offensive rebounds, was able to get foul, knocked down some free throws, but Jokic is going to be playing off of him a lot. Daring Anthony Davis to shoot these mid-range jumpers. Anthony Davis' perimeter game has to be on point in this series. I don't think he hit a perimeter
Yeah,
jump shot tonight.
I don't think he did.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of like any time. Most of Anthony Davis's points, like you said, were putbacks,
Hmm.
easy lob dunks, nothing super crazy. I think
Yeah.
I think also another thing, too, is D'Angelo Russell has to play this way as well for them to win because
Oh yeah.
one of the big things last year, and I think this is
Hmm.
now this I will say is going to be different this year because they don't
Hmm.
have Bruce Brown and Jeff Green like they did last year.
That is
And I
true.
think one of the big things was Bruce Brown was cooking D'Angelo Russell last year, and
Hmm.
you don't have that issue this year. Now, D'Lo is not a great defender. We saw it tonight, but he did have a huge steal at the end. That is something that I do have to give
Hmm.
him. If he can play this way against the Nuggets, where he's hitting his threes, they had a chance in every game last year. What's to say
Yeah.
they don't have a chance in every game this year? I just think that based on what we've seen, 0-3 this year, got swept in the
Hmm.
West Conference Finals last year.
Yeah.
What really changed in terms of because they didn't get bigger. They need to bring
No.
guys like Dwight Howard back in order to really throw a body at Jokic. They didn't do
Hmm.
that. So you're kind of left with can you either A, outpace them, which I don't think is possible, B, can you outshoot them? Maybe, but you have to really hope that everybody is on their A game, which I don't think is
Yeah.
going to happen either. Um, or C, like you said, 80 has to, like literally the most feasible option is 80 plays like he did in 2020. If you get
Yeah.
2020 AD playing, oh yeah, they could they could possibly make this an interesting series. So
Yeah. No, it's gonna be yeah. There's a couple key factors for the Lakers on defense, like who is going to be the primary ball defender on Jamal Murray in this series. That's going to be very interesting to see because according to their
yeah,
starting lineup, who I don't know who's going to guard Murray and how are they going to guard these ball screens with Murray and Jokic? Are they going to just double
they
Murray right away? Because if they do that, that'd be a big mistake. Because if you get the ball to Jokic in the middle of the floor
mhm.
on a 3-on-2, he's going to cook you.
They
Right?
were
He's
a
going to
middle of the
score, get in the
pack team
lane.
this year, man. Their
Yeah,
defense is not that good, and they're missing Jared Vanderbilt, who's
yeah,
one of their
that's what
better defenders.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying too. Is like if Anthony Davis is going to be the guy guarding Jokic in the post and stuff, you have to pray. Anthony Davis cannot get in foul trouble in any of these games. He can't.
No, no, because Jackson
Yeah.
Hayes is gonna get cooked alive, dude. Like I'm telling you
And the
right
thing is,
now, it's
yeah, I hear you.
no,
He's gonna
go
get
ahead. What were you
cooked.
gonna say?
No, I was gonna say too is like, how are they gonna guard Jokic in the post? Are they gonna just let him go 1-on-1 and decide to just, you know what, we're gonna contain everybody else? We're gonna let Jokic go for 40 plus points every night, make him
Nah,
earn it 1-on-1, make it contest, or you're gonna have to double him. You're gonna have to rely on recovering, all this stuff. And Nuggets got some shooters on their team, and the Nuggets are a very well-rounded team, and that's
Michael Porter
why
Jr., bro.
yeah, that's why they're probably the favorites to come out of the West, and they should be, even though
Yeah.
they're the 2 seed. But I would say they're the best team in the West for sure. They should have never lost that game against San Antonio. That might have cost them home court if somehow
Hmm.
Oklahoma does make it to the Western Conference Finals. But I don't view Oklahoma as a strong number 1 seed, to be honest with you. I feel like I don't know if you saw in First Take, Shannon.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Shannon Sharp said that Oklahoma was one of the weakest number one overall seeds. Oklahoma is my team. But if I'm going to keep it real, I think he's right. I think they are one of the weakest number one seeds we have seen in the NBA in a long time. I just think they're
Hmm.
too young, too inexperienced. They're too frail. Like when they play bigger teams like Minnesota, Denver, Chet Holmgren's not going to be able to guard those centers. He's just
No,
not.
and they don't really have anybody else at center. That's the thing.
They
You
don't.
would have needed a guy like Andre Drummond
They
during the
should
trade deadline.
exactly. Hmm.
That
Yeah.
would have been great to have because at
Hmm.
least you have a body you can throw Jokic. Drummond's not a great defender, but he's better than Chet Holmgren in terms of that.
Yeah.
He's got a lot more weight on him than Chet. Now,
Yeah.
I do want to say, Nick, just like right now, as we're recording at 9:54, the
Hmm.
Kings are up by 11 on the Warriors with 7:20 in the second quarter.
Okay.
So I do have to say, I mean, the Thunder might get gifted right here because if Sacramento wins this game
Hmm.
and then they beat the Pelicans, the Kings are not a big team.
Yeah.
I think the Thunder then have a very good chance of making it out of the
Hmm.
first round. I think actually the other two teams they would have to play, depending on who wins this 9-10 and then who wins like the winner of the next playing game.
Yeah.
I think if it was the Warriors, you know, I can't lie, like it would be hard for the Warriors to say they couldn't win that series just based on stuff. And
Yeah.
the Thunder are not a big team, which is the
Hmm.
one weakness of the Warriors is if you're a bigger team that has some bodies that can be put, then you're not going to win that series. So
Yeah. No, 100%. I was going to ask you too. So, quick predictions on the two games in the East tomorrow. Who do you got?
I know we'll talk more about this tomorrow too, but
Hmm.
by the time we're recording the next recap, I mean, I'm gonna go with the Heat tomorrow. I actually do think Miami will win this game. I I I mean the Bulls. Okay, here's the thing about the Bulls. My love and hate relationship with the Chicago Bulls.
Hmm.
When they look great, you question why can't this be all the time? When they
Hmm.
suck, you remember that this is why we suck because we have literally continued to have the same stupid core for three
Hmm.
years. I was on the defense last year. I know we talked about it during the trade deadline. Hey, you got to keep the continuity, you know. And
Yeah.
Nick, I'm full of shit now. Blow that team up, please. I don't want it anymore. They suck so much. I'm sorry. I could just keep going, but
I hear you.
but
No, I
I'm
hear
gonna
you.
go with the I'll go with the Bulls though. I do think a home playing game, United Center. I think if
Hmm.
Kobe White gets it going early, I think if the Bulls, I think somebody told me, so a buddy told me this. Apparently, if the opponent hits less than 10 threes, the Bulls have won every game. So if Trey Young decides to
Interesting.
brick a bunch of threes tomorrow,
Yeah.
the Bulls have a really good chance of winning this game.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
I think it's just going to come down to can the Bulls players hit their shots? Can they hit
Yeah.
enough threes?
Hmm.
I think it's gonna come down to Kobe White. We know DeMar is gonna give us 25. You know, we're expecting 25 from DeMar. Can Kobe give us 20, 25? What's Vooch
Yeah.
gonna do? You know, um, that's my question. So
Yeah.
I'm curious. What do you got though?
So I do have Miami,
Okay.
but I have Atlanta taking out Chicago.
Okay.
I remember what happened a couple weeks ago. Actually, Atlanta went in Chicago, beat the Bulls without
Hmm.
Trey Young in the lineup, and it looked like Atlanta just had their way with them. Is Jalen Johnson out tomorrow? Is that confirmed?
I can check that for you
Because that's a
right
big
now.
part of Atlanta because he's had a huge year for them this year, even though he's missed a pretty decent amount of games. But when he's been on the floor, I think he's one of those players, man. He could do a little bit of everything for you. I think he averaged about 16 points per game this year, like 8 rebounds. Like he had a really good year this year.
Yeah,
Um,
Jalen Johnson is going to miss the play-in tournament, and
okay,
Oganku or
yeah,
Organwu. I'm sorry if I'm
Oh yeah,
butchering
he's
that
been
name.
out for a little bit.
Yeah, but both
Hmm.
of them are going to be out. I mean, yeah, that's going to
Yeah.
be. Or actually, no, wait. No, he will return. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
read one article that says 5 days ago that he was out, but apparently
Hmm.
on Hoops Hype, Sham
Yeah.
Charania has confirmed that he will return tomorrow versus the Bulls. So yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's huge for them.
Yeah. I'm going with Miami and Atlanta. I just
Okay.
trust Atlanta's perimeter shooting more than the Bulls, and I
Yeah.
trust Quinn Snyder to make adjustments as the game goes on. And Billy Donovan to me just doesn't make any adjustments whatsoever. We play the same style every single game, and yeah, I just believe in Atlanta. You know, it kills me as a Bulls fan to say it, but if I had to do a pick 'em, I'm going with the team from with me that has more perimeter shooting, more perimeter scoring, and a better head coach.
No, I hear you, man. I hear you. And I don't blame you for even as a Bulls fan, I don't blame you for taking the Hawks in
Hmm.
this game. I'm only saying it because I just know the Bulls are going to give us hope again. They're going to look good tomorrow, and then they're going to let us crash and burn on Friday when we get
Yeah.
cooked by Joel Embiid and the Sixers, and he's going to drop
Hmm.
50 on us. We're going to look stupid. It's going to be the
Hmm.
same problem that we've always had. We cannot stop Embiid,
Yeah.
and this will be the last that we'll ever see of this core. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I mean, whether we like it or not, we have to watch him tomorrow. Jerry Reinsdorf,
Yep.
please sell the team. We don't want you here anymore.
Yep.
And I gotta say one more thing, Nick, before we end this, okay?
Hmm.
Stephen A, my man, don't think we didn't catch you lacking. You can claim you're a Knicks fan all you want, but my boy, Quentin Grimes, has not been on the New York Knicks since the trades.
Yep.
Bro really said Quentin Grimes on a recent podcast. I don't want to hear it. Keep that
That's bad.
energy and stay off the weed. That's all I had to say.
I don't think you could have said that any better, to be honest with you. So I can't really add to that, but yeah, those so-called experts need to look at roster sheets before they start preaching,
Hey
or
man,
not even preaching, just start talking in general. So
that's all I gotta say about it, bro.
yeah.
I got nothing else that I want to say besides that. Um, but yeah, man, I'm looking forward to the playoffs. I'm
Oh
can't
yeah.
lie to you, the Eastern play-in is not gonna be as watched, I think, as tonight's, but
Hmm.
you know what? I hope that the games are good tomorrow. We'll talk more tomorrow about those games too.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking forward to this, Nick. It's gonna be a lot of basketball. So guys, stay tuned. We're gonna be trying to have one after every play-in game and talk about it, break it down, get you guys a little bit shorter, condensed episodes so you can watch more content for us, and then we're able to give you guys more stuff. So let us know if you like this. Comment, subscribe, like, share. Stay tuned. We are going to have one for the Eastern Play-in tomorrow, unfortunately. Um, but Nick, anything else you want to say before we end tonight? Who do you have? Who do you have tonight? Who do you have tonight? I know that it's 48-36 right now, but who do you
Yeah.
have winning this game tonight?
Going into today, I had Sacramento winning this one.
Okay.
I just think that I kind of feeling it wasn't either going to be two home teams or two road teams winning. I feel like there's going to be a split. So I feel like the Kings have a better chance at home against Golden State
Hmm.
and versus New Orleans having a chance against the Lakers because the Lakers just had the Pelicans number all year. And I feel like the
Fair
Kings are going
enough.
to, this game means a lot to them because they lost in game 7 at home when Steph dropped 50 on them last year. So I think the Kings really, really want this game to feel a little bit better about themselves. So that's why I went with Sacramento. This game's personal to them.
That's fair. That is fair.
Mm-hmm.
Sacramento lost to Golden State last year in seven. Obviously in Sacramento. Huge game. I know Malik Monk wishes that he could be playing today. Unfortunately, that
Yeah,
is a
he's out.
huge
Yeah.
piece they're missing
Mm-hmm.
from this game.
Mm-hmm.
So I had the Warriors today. I'm not gonna
You
lie.
pick the Warriors, you hate them.
I hate them, and I picked them still. And they're of
See,
course,
that's reverse psychology. That
yeah,
means
no,
you
it is.
you
It
really think
ain't,
they're gonna.
and they're fucking my bet over right now. So if they don't win, I don't get my money. So, um, yeah, this is the only time
It's
I'm
funny
gonna
how life
say I want
works.
the Warriors to win. So yeah,
Yeah.
But no,
I
I
hear you,
mean,
man.
hey, anything could happen in the second half. We'll see. We'll talk more about it
We'll see.
tomorrow too, man. So,
Yep.
thank you guys for listening. Continue to look out for more content coming very soon, and we hope you enjoyed this.